Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk about hierarchies. So hierarchy is a very common occurring phenomena, kind of master data that you often see in your problems. So sometimes the hierarchy is very well defined, like that is even, and sometimes it's uneven. I'm going to start with regardless of it is even or it's not even, uneven. I'm going to start with the basic thing how Qlik handles the hierarchy. So in this table, you see, this is unexpanded hierarchy. You have parent and you have a child. This is 99% of the times it is maintained how in data tables. At times, you see a proper hierarchy, so there is no need for conversion for that. But if you see hierarchies like this, yes, you can use Qlik hierarchy function to do convert that. So this is like code name of the node and the parent node. Okay, so in order to have that, I have this function in here. I have loaded this data. So, and I have code. So in hierarchy, when you do the first thing is the code and then the parent code and then the name of the node, so that it creates a table. So let's just see that if I do that, I load the data without anything, without the hierarchy table, it gives us a simple normal table. I have loaded some data as well. So let's just see what happens in here. Okay, in hierarchy, it's just simple table that I've just shown you a little while ago. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use this hierarchy table, the code, child node, parent node, and the name of the child node. So I'm just going to load it again, refresh the data, and let's see what we get now. So if you see here, it says hierarchy node leaves expanded. So if I go to the data model now, in the hierarchy table, if you see, it has basically created name 1, name 2, some field has been created up to name 6. This, if you see, let's say just take the example of Dubai. So it says global, then the Middle East is in UAE, and then Dubai. So this is kind of an hierarchy. And if we want to see the data in action, so I'm just have this name 1, name 2 loaded in a table. And I'm just going to add my here. Let's add value, and I'm going to summarize that. And here we go. Okay, let's just start with table, simple table. And it's just like we have just seen at the backend. And now there is a challenge that you see there are some values which you don't see in here. Just wanna in include zero values. So you see, I have a value New York City. These kind of hierarchies in here. This is a challenge now with the uneven hierarchy. So simple hierarchy works. It has just converted that. But the good thing with Qlik-it, it's not necessarily you have to define it that how many levels you want to have. It automatically creates as many as levels there are in the hierarchy. And it may be uneven hierarchy. It works perfectly fine in terms of its creation. But the challenge becomes when it comes to representing it. It seems like fine. We can see that Canada, there is nothing under Canada, no subdivisions. So we have that, and this is a very common challenge in hierarchies where there are uneven kind of department. For example, maybe you have a sales team which is concentrated in some region. Let's say it's concentrated in Europe, and it has some presence in other countries. So maybe in Europe you will have even country, and then even within a country you have a certain sales hierarchy because you are selling a lot more in there. Whereas in other regions, let's say in Asia, as you know, a level you will not have a Europe, a continent to continent comparison, but Asia will be treated like a one country in Europe. So then it becomes uneven hierarchies, and it's very difficult to you know have a same comparison, apple to apple comparison. Not same levels, there are different levels, divisions. So this is where we call it uneven hierarchies. So let's see how we can handle that in Qlik. So if and this even still it looks pretty, but as soon as we come to the pivot table, which is more suited to look at the hierarchies. So if I have just a global level, it works fine, but as soon as I drill in, you see I start getting these nulls, a lot of nulls. Let's just start with getting, okay. So you see I have Americas, and if I go into Americas, Canada, there are a lot of null values in there. Okay, so what if there is no value under this, it should be dropped here. It should not show me these null values. So this is my objective. So I'm gonna start with simply excluding the null zero values. So it's gonna you know uh, nothing happening in here, but it's showing me this just value under the null. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is there is this nice function, not a nice function, it's kind of a way around. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna paste it in here, and I'm going to explain that what it is. Okay, so what it is doing, just this one is simple. This is sign. Sign means it's basically picking that it is positive, has one sign, plus one, minus one, or zero if it is a zero value. So this is a very nice function, dimensionality function, which gives me what is current dimensionality of the data that I'm looking at, and then it counts, it picks up, for example, if it is global, it's the first dimension, it counts how many times that is appearing. So if it is a positive number, the sign is plus one and it's adding. And if there is, so essentially what it's doing is, if the value is zero in any of the count, so it's not gonna show that, it's gonna show zero value and it's going to be hidden. So let's just see that after doing this. Okay, we have just Americas and Canada. There is no null values in the America because there is nothing now. And but there is a con on that side that these values, if I just see the Americas values, the Canada and America doesn't add up, because the reason is that it can happen that sometimes the value is, some value is directly going to the parent and some value is going to the siblings. So it can happen like that. So it is very much truly reflective of the scenario. There is another way to present that this particular challenge, to overcome this particular challenge, that is using Qlik's own visualization bundle extension called organizational hierarchy. So let's just use that, the R chart. So in the R chart, it's an alternate way to present it, but yeah, nevertheless you can see that. So in this one we do not have name one, name two, it uses just simple hierarchy. So I'm gonna use code, and then I'm gonna use parent code. Okay, so here I have the hierarchy, and then I'm going to use the measure value that I was using earlier. Okay, so in there, if I have the hierarchy, so I have the code title expression, I can use that. So I'm gonna use name in here. You see now it automatically changed, it has changed. So from I'm just gonna remove this expression. So global, then sub hierarchies, and then like this. And then what else I can have? I can have a subcard title, and let's just say that I can have it anything. It can be very creative as well. Okay, so for now, let's just call it um, parent code, and I'm not going to add any card description, but there are very nice examples you can add in there. I will come to descriptions, text values, how you can make it beautiful, arrows, colorful, of the making them colorful. So we will come to that. And the good thing about this one is that we can make it color coded. So it can be any expression, but for now I'm going to go for RGB 200, 100, and let's say 50. Let's see what comes in here. Okay, so here we go. We have this color coded, but these can be dynamically color coded. For each expression can be have its own value. So if I just want to explore that, not necessarily, I know that it ends in here. This one has a further node, and this one is eastern one has a further node, and you see whatever hierarchy is there, you can have them and you can see the values for those values. So if there is no any subversion, it's not gonna show up in here. Okay, so this is the part one. I want to talk about uneven hierarchies. There is another way to overcome this challenge. This is rather than when we are looking at the data in other charts, that becomes very handy, especially when we have the drill downs rather than having these drill-ins. We can have by other charts like pie chart, table charts, where you want to click and you want to see the drill down. But in this particular case, it's the lowest level is the null value, and it's not going to show up, or it's going to show null values. So this particular thing, this particular expression, that we nice expression that we had, it's not going to solve our problem. So I will for this, I will come back to the table side. So I'm gonna convert back into the table, and I'm going to remove this component that I just added. Here we go. Okay, so we have this in here. So what I want is, I want that and ideally, if Americas, this is empty, it should it should reflect in everywhere. And why is that? Let me show you. If I have let me have a bar chart in here, and we can have a customized master item to make the hierarchy. So I can have a drill down, name 1, name 2, name 3, name 4, name 4, name 5, name 6, and I'm gonna call it a regional hierarchy, and I'm gonna hit create. I hope you are aware of that, how to do that. We have covered that in our previous lectures, previous videos. So I'm gonna use value, sum of value. Okay, here we go. So now the problem I was trying to explain, that as soon as I hit Americas, I have this null value and I cannot select it, though I see the value, but I cannot select it. If I want to select it, I can go into Canada, but I cannot select Americas. And at times you don't want to scare that up. uh, yes, I understand that. As I understand that this particular value belongs to with there is no parent, no child, no proper division. It's sometimes the value directly goes into a certain um, parent body. So this is particular in this case, we are doing that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to script this time, and I'm gonna say temp, and I'm gonna load all these values along with name 1, name 2, name 3, name 4, name 5, name 6. Okay, and I'm gonna remove level because we don't need that, and then I'm going to use resident hierarchy temp, and I'm gonna call this one as hierarchy, and then I'm gonna drop the table hierarchy temp. Okay, so let's load the data. It's just the same abbreviation that I've just done. I've just created, so there is nothing changed. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply a function in here, and I'm gonna say if name 1 is null, then use name, else name 1 as name 1. Okay, so let's just copy and paste it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops, we overshot. Okay, so here again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Same we're gonna do in here 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so just load the data now. And if I come in here, you see I have this, everything is covered now. There is no blank values. So for the value, if there is a value and there is no child, it basically assumes the value of that particular child for all the subsequent columns, and that can be handy. And that's normally what you want. You know, if there is uneven hierarchy, you want to fill in some of parent or child, whatever you want. So that is how you can do that. Okay, so before I sign off, there is I know this has become a long video. I'm just briefly go over few other functions in hierarchy. So for that, I'm gonna just go to help mode. I'm just gonna go to the hierarchy, and there are essentially the functions. We can create a path, and we can create a parent name as well. So let's just see that, node ID. So these are the values that we have to give, and we can, make a parent name. We can have a path source, can have a path name, we can have a path delimiter and path depth. So let's just skip this. The one we want to skip, we can just write comma and keep it blank. We're gonna skip parent name and path source, but I'm gonna give the path name, and I'm gonna call it path and then delimiter, I'm gonna say that that is going to be my delimiter, and then I'm gonna say depth. And for time being, I'm just commenting this one out so that we can see this what exactly happens in here. And if I see the data model itself, I will see a few other fields created called depth. So the depth gives you how much deep this particular hierarchy runs. So this is 6th level, this is 5th level, and I think we missed one. We missed node name, parent name, path source, path name. I think we're fine with this. Let's see that what happens. This is just a small glitch. Let's get that resolved. So rather than the path, and yes, I think we are good now. The path source is like the field which will be the source of the path. I forgot that. So no, I think we are good. It should be resolved now. Yeah, here you see the path seams. In this one, global, Europe, UK, Scotland, GB, Scotland, and the depth. So this is, in this way you can make a path. There were certain extensions, or you can use that in other, make your extension where you have this particular path and use this delimiter to have the hierarchy. So that's it for the hierarchies, uneven hierarchies. Thank you very much. See you again.